Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and well, this is just going to be a bit of a random ramble really. I know I've not made any videos for a couple of weeks, and to be honest I've had a bit of a chest infection over the last couple of weeks, and I've been rather ill with it. I've had to have about a week off work, which hasn't helped because I'm self-employed, so it's meant I've had a mad time catching up with things. I'm still not quite over it, so if I do stop off on a bit of a coughing fit during this, I do apologise for it now. Like I say, it's a lot better than it was, but I'm still not 100%. I've not really had time to do anything with any of my vintage stuff, so hence why I've not been making any videos. But anyway, I had a quick 40 minutes spare here now, so I thought I'd go through a few things, and I thought I would show you this. Now, first of all, I will say I've just had an absolute disaster with it. I've dragged it up into the attic up here, and I was setting it up on my table here so I could show it on camera. And if you obviously know the attic, I've got a pitched roof on it, so I've had to pull the table out further into the room. And I had it all set up, and I had the lid open, and I was setting my camera up, and I must have caught it. The lid come crashing down, and I caught the arm, and I've actually broken the arm off its mount there. The arm on these decks to shut off actually move all the way out here, and it must have been out slightly like that. I hadn't noticed because I was fiddling with the camera, and the lid come down and it's actually snapped it off, which is a bit of a setback. It's not the complete disaster you could possibly think, because I mean this deck's not in 100% pristine condition. It is repairable. All it's done actually, I don't know if we can see that on camera, is it's broken that little piece of plastic there, which is one of the mounts at the back here. I've got the piece. It will be a simple matter just to super glue that back and then reinforce around it with a little bit of araldite, and it'll be fine again. It's not under any stress, that anyway, really. So it should be okay. If not, then I suppose I'll be having to look for a new deck for this. This player, I mentioned it in my previous video. This is a about 1954 and 1955 Dansette Minor. You don't see that many of these. I'm a little bit annoyed about doing that, but it's worse things have happened at sea. You don't see that many of these. They're one of the early Dansettes, single play deck, as rather the the decks like the UA8, UA4, which was, I think was in the original Dansettes, which is an auto change. You could stack about 6 or 8 records on them. This just plays one record, 78, 45 or 33 RPM. It plays the one record and then it stops. It does have an auto stop mechanism on it, but it doesn't return or anything like that. It's quite simple. Very basic amplifier in these. It uses 2 valves. It is a mains isolated amplifier, so it's a bit safer than some of the players out there, which are not mains isolated. It uses a, if I remember correctly, a EL41 output pentode, and it uses a EZ40 rectifier valve. So actual valve rectification in these rather than the solid state rectification in some of the later players. This one is, I think I paid £1 or £2 for this from a car boot sale quite a long time ago, before these players were worth anything, and it was in a bit of a state, as you can see. Someone in the past has basically restored it-ish. They've got it going again, I think. The electrics in it had been worked on to a reasonable standard. Some of the soldering was a bit dodgy, and I have touched that up when I first got this. the original cartridge in it was I actually used in another player a long time ago, and this has just been stuck under a bench. So when I come to start messing with this, it was missing its cartridge. I've had a few plays. I played with a little a modding cartridge and a little preamp in it, and it sounded alright, but I thought, seeing these players are quite valuable now, I'd see about putting it back to original and perhaps slicing it out a bit, seeing if I can get it as good as I can. And so this is why this is annoying me, because that's a bit of a setback. But like I said, I can fix that. It's currently fitted with a one of my last new old stock high output cartridges. Probably, I think that dates from the early 70s. It's mono but stereo compliant high output cartridge. I'm not sure about the make. It's not one of the ones you get a lot of. I think it might be an American one actually. But anyway, it's a high output cartridge in there. So what I've got to do with this here, that's probably one of the worst things on this player. That should actually be this colour here. That was obviously missing at some point in the past, and someone's made this, painted it red. It's not even the right coloured red. I mean, that's the Dansette red if it was going to be red, and it's painted, and it should be covered in this stuff. Now, I haven't got any of the vinyl cloth. Well, it's vinyl paper. This it's very, very hard to get nowadays. I haven't got any quite like that, but what I have found in my junk and my stores is that. Now what that is, believe it or not, that was the lid off a very long dead Dansette record player, which has been pillaged for just about every single usable bit. It even had woodworm on the cabinets. The cabinet was absolute scrap on it. It had been damp for a very, very long time, but I salvaged just about everything else that was useful off that player. And what I'm wondering if I can do is if I can get this off, whether I can cut a piece out of this, clean it up, and then use it to cover that. Now I know it's not exactly the right thing, but at least it'll be the right paper cloth, and I think it'd tone in and look a lot better than that does, because that just looks a mess. Probably spray that cream as well. It's actually plastic. Actually spray that cream, I think, to match in with the deck. The grill at the front, let me just tilt the camera down a bit. The grill at the front here is complete, but it is cracked in the middle, so I may have to do a little bit of repair work on that there, or replace it with something else. I'll see about that. But yeah, I was actually going to show you this thing playing, because it does play okay. The pots are crackly on it, but it's got plenty of volume and it doesn't actually sound bad. This is why I'm really, really annoyed about doing that. But anyway, I will probably show this in a later video when I've actually undone the damage I've just done there, and probably recovered that, cleaned it all up, and I'll give you a proper show of it and a proper play. I thought I'd still make this video just to show how much of an idiot I've been. But anyway, let's get on from that. Let's see some other things that I've been, well, not that I've been doing, but that I've got in the pipeline. Some things I've received in the post, and some things I've actually picked up, freebies and what have you. Yeah, shut that down now. Remind me, I'll put that flat because I don't want to lose that little plastic bit now. Ooh, let's put that down there so it's out of my way. I'll put that on top of it. And anyway, I picked this up off eBay a little while ago and it received. I've not had a chance to show it yet. I'll open it this way up because I don't want to show my address. And I didn't pay very much for it. I think I paid £7 for it, including delivery. And what it is, as you might have seen from some of my earlier videos, I've got an Amstrad. Well, I've got the 464 and the 6128. And what we've got here is an AMX mouse and some there's some paint software, some design software, pattern designer, and all sorts of little bits of software to try with it. But yeah, we've got a little 3-button AMX mouse for the Amstrad CPC 464 or the 6128. So I'm quite pleased with that. Like I said, I paid £7 for that on eBay. I will do a video in the future with my little. It's actually buried behind. This is terrible. Move some stuff and then I can show it. But let's spin the camera around. Yeah, as you can see, we have a little Amstrad 6128 set up there. And it's well, that reminds me actually, I need to fix the 3-inch disc drive in that if I'm going to try this AMX mouse on it. I may be better with my 464 with the tape at the moment, because the 3-inch drive's not working and that it needs a new belt. And unless I can find this software online and I can copy it onto a 3.5-inch disc, which is what I'm currently running on the Amstrad. Anyway, let's get back to here. So, yeah, so I was really pleased with getting that for, oops. I was really pleased with getting that for about, I think it was about £7 I paid for it. So I'll put that away for a future video. Oh dear me. There we go, I'll put that away. And the next thing, now I got this off one of the Facebook groups, and I hadn't seen one before. Let me see if you can see that on the shot. Let me see if we can get this camera a bit closer to that, shall we? You know, no fancy takes or cuts or anything here, you know. We'll just move the camera a bit closer to it. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, it's this thing. For the Spectrum 48, 16 or 48K, and what this is a it's a little EEPROM interface. It's not an EEPROM writer, it's an EEPROM reader. So I think the idea is it's from where is it Denmark or somewhere like that. I'm sure it says on it. No, I can't see it actually saying on where it come from, but I'm pretty sure it was Denmark, Sweden, one of them kind of countries that made it. And I think I paid £15 for this. I did say to the chap I'd do a video on it working. I've not had a chance to do anything with it yet. But like I said, the idea was that you could write your own program for the 48K or the 16K Spectrum. Burn it to an EEPROM, fit it in here, and then you it actually tells you what you type here. You have to call it from memory. And then you can run it, and you can actually run your program as a solid state program from EEPROM using that. So it has got an EEPROM in it. I don't know what's on it. I've not even tried running it yet, but I'm going to do a video in the future for a bit of fun, hooking that up to one of my 48K Spectrums and seeing what I can do with it. Seeing what's on it first. I'll take the ROM out of it and I'll do a ROM dump. And see what's on it that way, if there's anything still on it. If I can get that to run, all well and good. If not, I'll see about perhaps writing it to an EEPROM, and then getting it to run from this. So yeah, an interesting little pickup. I've never seen one before. I don't know how common they are, so should be a fun one to play with for in the future. Not got a lot more really to look at. I picked these up the other day. I'll swing the camera around rather than try and move them into shots. Yeah, these. I'm sure everyone's saying, oh, just old junky PCs, but they were being thrown out by a company that I do some work for. No longer required, and there was heading for the e-waste skip. We've got a, they're both Dells. This is an earlier one, Pentium 4. Bit of an odd bod this one, because no floppy drive in it. It doesn't even have a CD drive in it. I've already checked, and unfortunately it's not got a hard drive in it either. But it's a Pentium 4. I've not tried it yet, but I'm sure I'll find a use for it. Then we have a this is an Optiplex 760 Windows. That's got an XP license on it. This has got a Vista license on it. I have tried this one, and it's been completely wiped. There's nothing on the hard drive at all. Apart from that, it seems to work okay. DVD writer in it, 80 gig SATA hard drive in it. So I'm sure I can find a use for it. It just goes to show what's still being thrown away. I mean, I'm sure I can make like a little. I keep thinking about putting a PC behind the telly downstairs just to stream YouTube and stuff like that, because it's not a smart TV or anything. So I mean, bang Linux on that. It'll probably do nicely for that. So it's always worth looking out for these when they're being chucked away. Anyway, I think I'll leave it at that for now, because I've waffled on for far too long. Hopefully next video I might see what I can do with that little Dansette, see if I can repair the damage that I've done today, and make it spruce it up, make it look a little bit better, and actually get it playing for you. So we'll leave it at that for this ramble. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.